Hello folks, this is Sula speaking, and you're listening to another commentary for League of Legends, this one featuring Veigar. This is a game that was taken from our game night on Tuesday nights, so I am playing here as Veigar, along with Varus Nox, who's playing as Trundle, and then a number of people that have sent me friend requests for League of Legends and have watched these videos on YouTube. So we're playing with Muffin Guy, who's playing as Morgana, Starva, who's playing as Misfortune, and Mr. Pizarro, I think that is playing as Amumu. And then we're playing against Termith, who's playing as Malzahar, Donsky, who's playing as Amumu, and Termith and Donsky are longtime friends who I game with regularly. And then we have three other people who are watchers of this channel on YouTube and are friends of mine on League of Legends. So that's Magus playing Poppy, Mutant Mimic playing Aurelia, and Ixlith, I think, playing as Sivir. And so you can see the starting matchups here on the screen. Now, I wanted to show this game for a couple of reasons. This isn't the most well-played game you'll ever see. They're actually a mixture of some really good plays and some really terrible plays in this game, and I'm going to talk about them as we go along. So I wanted to show a couple of different things. First of all, I had a request for Veigar to do a Veigar game from someone a while back. I hardly ever play Veigar, but I figured that since I actually did have a Veigar game, I would show it. And you can see some of the chat going back and forth here as we try to figure out who's going to be in what lane. The other reason I wanted to show this is the White Mage Veigar skin went on sale, and I wanted to show that skin because I was able to pick it up. So there you go. It's a little hard to see in the brush, but I'm going to zoom in here, see if I can rotate the camera a little bit. I guess you can't see it too much, but yeah, he's in his little White Mage outfit as opposed to his standard Black Mage one. So anyway, there we go. We're trying to figure out the lanes here. I think that we decided that we were going to have... I had asked to play in the middle lane. Veigar is pretty bad in a duo lane. He really needs to solo. His role on the team is to kill enemy champions. The goal is to basically assassinate the enemy champions. That's what you are. Your job is to burst people down really quickly with lots and lots of magic damage. And if you aren't getting farm in a solo lane, you're not going to be able to do that. And so if you're in a dual lane and you get underleveled, underfarmed, you're just not really going to be very useful. So anyway, Veigar usually needs a solo lane. And then we're going to have Starva's Misfortune go in the other solo lane. Just because if we had a Veigar and Morg solos, they're both magic damage, and that wouldn't be as useful as if we have a mixture of magic from me and then physical damage from Starva. So anyway, that's what how we're going to set up. Varus is going to be jungling with Trundle. Muffin Guy's Morg is going to be in the bottom lane. And then here is really the one sort of weird part of our setup. Mr. Pizarro, laning Amumu. Amumu is almost always played as a jungler. It's just not a good decision generally to play Amumu in lane. He's a very weak laner, so if you're not gonna be jungling, you probably shouldn't be playing as Amumu. And then the summoner heal is a little bizarre as well. But anyway, I ended up here against Mutant Mimic's Aurelia, and then in the top lane you can see Ixlith Sivir is going to be up against Starva's Misfortune. Then down here in the bottom lane you can see Termith Malzahar and Magus's Poppy are going to be together, and then their jungler is going to be Donsky's Amumu. So dual Amumus, but only Donsky is going to be jungling. Anyway, I'm going to spend the first couple minutes talking about Veigar, the character, and then I'll get into a little bit more of various stuff related to this match. So Veigar, as I said, his main role on a team is burst damage. He's a burst champ. His main goal is to assassinate enemy champions. He does this using a variety of skills. I want to talk first of all about his passive. Notice here that Veigar's mana regen is increased by 0.75. That's not 75%, it's 0.75 for each 1% of his mana missing. So basically, as you use up your mana, you get extra mana regen. And that's very much needed with Veigar because he's heavily mana dependent. He goes through mana very, very quickly, as you'll see. Now, the one thing that makes Veigar really unique is his Q, Baleful Strike. So I'll read it here for you. You can see it's just a standard nuke that deals damage, but it has one special effect. You can see deals 80 damage, has a pretty average ability power ratio. But then here, notice that first of all, if a target is killed, Veigar gains 1 ability power. So every time he kills a minion with his Baleful Strike, with his Q, he will get 1 extra ability power. So notice that I've already gotten 6 ability power just from killing minions. And there we go, up to 7 there right now. So every time I kill a minion, I'm going to get extra ability power. So this is what you want to be doing. First, especially in the early game, you want to be farming up minions with your Q and getting extra ability power. But really all throughout the game, you want to be trying to do that. Just because the longer the game goes, the more ability power you'll build as Veigar. Then furthermore, notice that there's a passive. Veigar gains ability power whenever he kills a champion from any source of damage. So it starts out with 1 point at level 1. You get 1 ability power for a kill at level 1 of the skill, and then for each point you put in the skill, you gain more. So notice now it's now 2 ability power, and then it'll be 3 at rank 3, etc., up to 5 ability power at rank 5. So when you play Veigar, you want to skill his Q first. This is pretty much pretty cut and dry here. Always want to skill his Q. Always want to put points in your Q skill first. Meanwhile, they get First Blood down there. Looks like Malefic Visions from Termus Malzahar finished off our Morg player down there, so oh well. Anyway, as I was saying, as for Veigar's other skills here, I put my second point at level 2 into his E skill, his Event Horizon. This is his stun. It functions very strangely. You put down a circle on the ground, and people who touch the sides of it get stunned. So it's really kind of weird to use, and it takes a lot of practice that I don't have because I'm not really that good at Veigar. So you'll see me get off some good stuns and some bad ones throughout the course of the game, but just remember, you want to try to hit the outside. You want to hit the edge of the event horizon to get the stun, and the stun duration is actually pretty good, and you do get a longer stun duration if you hit as you put more points in it. And there looks like Bizarro and Muffin Guy were able to come back in lane and get a kill. At least I think, maybe it wasn't in top lane. Who got killed? No, Termeth, so it must have been in bottom lane. I don't see exactly where the body is, though. So, oh, anyway. But did score a kill on Termeth there. Okay, and then is wrapping up Veigar's last skills. You can see his W skill, Dark Matter. This is a skill that does the most damage. You get a little targeting circle. See it there in the Nexus? You can see the targeting circle there. You place a targeting circle on the ground, and after a short delay, 1.2 seconds, Dark Matter falls from the sky to the target location, deals a lot of damage, and this skill has a 1-to-1 AP ratio. So notice I have 19 ability power, and I get plus 19 magic damage. So Dark Matter deals a ton of damage, but because of the delay, it's difficult to hit with it. It takes some practice to hit. So for Veigar, the standard combo is you stun them with his Event Horizon, then drop Dark Matter, and then finish them off by using his Q, his Baleful Strike, and his ultimate. You can see Primordial Burst is very similar to his Q, very similar to Baleful Strike. It's just a nuke, deals a lot of damage. You can see deals 250 at rank 1, then plus 80% of his target's AP. And this skill also has a huge ability power ratio. It's actually a 1.2 ability power ratio. So notice I have 23 ability power, and then I get plus 27 from the skill. So as you get more ability power, this increases in damage very quickly, and then it does more does more damage to enemies who have a lot of ability power. So basically, Veigar is an anti-caster caster. There are a couple in the game, but he was the original one. He's really good at bursting down mages or champions on the other team that have a lot of ability power. So you drop your stun, then you immediately follow up with Dark Matter, with Baleful Strike, with Primordial Burst, and then Ignite as well. And then later on, you'll see me get a Deathfire Grasp as well. So I'll talk more about that when I get it. But anyway, as I said, Veigar really good at bursting people down. Can be a little tricky to do because you have to hit a lot of hotkeys really fast on the keyboard, and I'm not the best at doing that. Okay, as far as this matchup in lane here, when I went back to base, I picked up Tear the Goddess. That was the first item I wanted to get. You can see it gives you extra mana regen, and it starts building up Veigar's max mana due to that passive. You can see every time you use a skill, increases max mana by 4 mana. That's going to be pretty important because I'm going to get an Archangel Staff later, and if I build up that extra mana early on, then that's going to give me even more ability power. So that's one of the things I wanted to focus on. Anyway, another reason why I started Meki Pendant, then turned it into Tear the Goddess, is Veigar is a huge mana hog. He goes through mana like crazy. And by getting Meki Pendant and turning that into a Tear the Goddess, you get a lot of mana regen. So again, I want to mention how this scales with his passive. Remember I said as he uses up mana, he gets extra mana regen. So right now, you can see if I open up the character screen, you can see my mana regen is all the way up to 34 per 5 because, and see it goes up actually as I use mana. So without this extra mana regen, that scales with Tear the Goddess, it scales with Meki Pendant, and that allows me to stay in lane. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to stay in lane. I would just run myself out of mana, and then I would basically be useless. And since I have my minions pushed up, I was looking at going back to base there. But instead, Varus has put Donsky here in the jungle. I'm going to use my Event Horizon, and he's right in the middle of it, and that's a nice flash. Notice how I misplaced my Event Horizon there. I wanted to trap Donsky in it, and I did get him inside, but I didn't hit him right on the corner, right on the edge of that Event Horizon. And so, even though he was stuck in the middle, he was able to flash over the wall, or over my Event Horizon stun. And you can see I even typed in the chat that that was a nice flash. So Donsky was basically able to get himself out of that. Anyway, I pushed up the minions there. I wanted to go back to base. The reason for that being I wanted to get boots. I wanted to have the movement speed. If Mutant Mimic's Aurelia just gets faster than me, it's going to make me really tough for me to lane against him. So that's why I wanted to do that. Oh, and you see Donsky coming in here, but Varus is very tanky already. You can see he's got the cloth armor. He's got 72 armor. He's not really in too much damage here, and he'll be able to walk out of that. Anyway, in terms of farming here in the lane, you can see I have 48 minion kills. I would say that's decent, not great. Oh, and there I'm just unloading on Donsky a little bit. Did some pretty good damage there. I was able to get him trapped in my event horizon. Here, I just thought I could finish him off, but Donsky's going to use his stun, and oh, down to 8 HP. You can see I threw in that auto attack. I honestly thought I was going to kill him there, but he was able to escape. If he had not used his ultimate there, if Donsky hadn't used his ultimate there, he definitely would have died. So he was able to use his stun, and unfortunately my ghost was down. When we caught Donsky over here earlier, I had ghosted. If I hadn't used my ghost, I also could have chased after him there and probably finished him off. So that was a little bit disappointing. But oh well, I used my burst combo there. Didn't have quite enough to finish him off. Got him down to 8 HP, but couldn't quite finish him off. As I was saying, in lane, this lane's been pretty even. You can see I'm slightly ahead of Mutant Mimic's Aurelia, not by a whole lot. I would say that this is kind of average farming, maybe a little below average, if anything. You can see I missed some minions right there, so not the greatest. Here, I'm just going to harass Mutant Mimic a little bit. I threw down my stun, not because I was trying to kill him, but because I wanted the tower to eat some of these minions, so that he wouldn't be able to last hit them. So that was the logic there. Now, two things that Mutant Mimic did that I thought could have been better in this lane. He didn't do a good enough job of harassing me in lane. Now, in terms of this matchup here, Veigar against Aurelia, this is a terrible matchup for Veigar. Aurelia's ability to close distance and attack, I don't know what the name of the skill is, but the one where she dashes forward. Like right there, you see that happen? She can dash forward in on Veigar so easily that she can really harass well. And there I am, I'm throwing down my event horizon to try to protect myself there from that Donsky gang. Like, she can throw down her event, she can charge towards Veigar so quickly and close that distance that it makes it really difficult to lane against her. And of course, once she gets in close at melee range, it's going to be really tough for me as Veigar to do much of anything. But Mutant Mimic played rather passively. He basically just let me farm in lane and didn't really do anything to try to attack me. Like, I don't recall him ever charging in and trying to hit me in lane. And that was a pretty significant mistake. Like, he could have harassed me out of this lane pretty easily, because as I said, Veigar against Aurelia, that is just a terrible matchup for Veigar. Aurelia wins that one pretty hard, so could have done more there. Unfortunately, our bottom lane is dying. Donsky went and ganked bottom lane, and both of our bottom lane members died, so that wasn't too good. So that was one mistake that I thought Mutant Mimic made. The other thing was he ran through his mana really quickly in lane, and then he would be sitting on like 15% mana, not really able to do that much over and over again, which I thought was a mistake. So anyway, Varus over here by the rest of the team. Donsky getting off a nice bandage toss. Looks like they're going to pursue. Now I am going to come down here to bottom lane to help out because I can see that there are 3 down here in bottom, and I want to be here for this fight. We want to make sure that we have some help here. So if they push forward here, like now Donsky's leaving, if they push forward here, Varus and I are going to turn and come in behind the rest of this team here, like so. So that's what we're waiting for. There I'm going to pop my ghost, so I have extra move speed here. Varus is going to use his corruption to give himself movement speed, and we're not going to get Maul's hard, but look at this. You can see Poppy's caught out of position. I'm going to use my ult, use my ignite there. You can see, oh, not quite enough there, though. And it looked like Magus was going to get away, but then Varus was following this up. Magus was still quite low. Magus doesn't have boots because he got Sheen before boots, and that's going to allow us to chase him down. And right here, I'm going to Q him and finish him off with Baleful Strike. And then look at this. Look at that binding. Beautiful Morg binding from Muffin Guy, and that's going to allow us to finish off Termith. Varus also getting off a very nice Pillar of Filth there to block the escape route. And then we're going to go from that, and we're going to turn that into a dragon. So we're going to get dragon off this. And whereas before our bottom lane had been in a ton of trouble, this little exchange here is going to allow us to even up the game here and actually take an edge, take a slight lead by taking that first dragon. So that was pretty key. Now, another thing I'll say, I mean, I don't want to be too critical of Mutant Mimic. I thought he played pretty solidly in this game, but when all that fight was going on, he never left middle lane, and he really should have come down here to help out the team, because if Aurelia had been there, then we probably would have, I don't think we would have won that fight, basically. We probably could not have gotten the 2 kills that we did. Like right there, Mutant actually dashed in and came in after me. And that was, I think, the first time he actually did that. So he could have done, Mutant, if you're watching this, you can do a lot more of that. like, this is a laning matchup that you had the advantage in, and you could have been stronger. Anyway, Pizarro and Starva were combining there to get a kill on their Sivir player, Ixlith, so that was a nice win for us, especially because Ixlith has been winning top lane. You can see he's got more farm overall. And right now, Varus was getting caught on the river, and they're going to finish him off there. So that was a mistake. And it looks like Muffin Guy is probably going to be able to get out of there, yes. Now, they would have a free dragon off that, but fortunately we already took dragon, so it's not up. And then Pizarro is going back and forth with Donsky here. I don't think that that's going to turn into anything, if I remember this game right. Okay, so anyway, that was, yeah, you can see Starver says don't get greedy. That was probably Varus just finding himself out of position there, and then a whole lot of members of the enemy team were there. Okay, now this is something I wanted to comment on because this is something that was an issue throughout the game, and this is something that I've seen in a lot of other games, games where people are maybe less experienced. Notice that Mr. Pizarro is just staying in my lane here. There's no reason to be in this lane. This is a solo lane. I want to be in a solo lane here to get solo gold and experience. There's no reason for him to be here. Like, he should be going back to bottom lane. Now notice, while he's standing there in middle lane, not really achieving much of anything, Magus and Termith are pushing down our bottom tower. So, like, if there's no reason to leave your lane, like if there's not a team fight, there's not a team objective going on, you should stay in your lane. Now, Mr. Pizarro went top lane to try to push this back, which was right. We did need someone to go top lane. Oh, well, I'll get to this in a minute. Unfortunately, here I'm getting ganked by Donsky and Mutant Mimic, and I used my Event Horizon, but I wasn't able to get out of that, so they were able to kill me. That was a bit of a mistake on me there. Donsky came out of the brush here, and I wasn't able to respond in time. So, yes, that was a bad play by me. I should have been able to get out of that, I think, but I was not able to. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to point out is notice that Starva's Misfortune is down here in bottom lane. And this, again, doesn't make any sense. Why? I don't know why he went down here. What this means is now Mr. Pizarro is in a solo lane top, and this is a terrible matchup. Amumu cannot lane by himself in a solo lane against a Sivir. Like, there's no way he can lane against this Sivir. So he's going to get crushed in that lane. Starva needed to go back to top lane. Like, there's no reason for him to be down here. He's a solo. We want him in a solo lane. We want him getting solo farm. He should be in that top lane. So anyway, he is in the wrong lane here. It really doesn't make sense. And now the Ixlith Sivir is just free farming top and pushing down our tower. So we were not very happy about this in the game. Again, if you're in a solo lane, you know, if your role is to be one of the team solos, then be one of the solos. Don't just leave your lane for no real reason. So anyway, wasn't too pleased about that. You can see Pizarro is, you know, doing his best to defend this lane, but he shouldn't be in this lane. He should be in bottom lane. Amumu cannot solo by himself in this game. Amumu just can't take a solo lane. He's terrible in the lane to begin with. Anyway, though, as far as what I'm doing, in terms of itemizing, well, I've got a second here. You can see I picked up Cage's Lucky Pick. That gives me extra ability power and the passive gold bonus. I also picked up Fiendish Codex, gives me ability power, mana regen, more mana regen, both of which I need, and it also reduces my cooldowns. Now, the reason, of course, why I get these two is they build into Deathfire Grasp, which is one of the key items for Veigar. Gives him ability power, gives him cooldown reduction, gives him mana regen, and it gives him an extra nuke, allows him to burst people down. Here, I was thinking about how I could potentially kill Mutant Mimic. Like, I was trying to catch him in a stun here. Like, if I can just stun him one more time and get off my full burst combo, I'm going to be able to kill him here. So I was really focusing in on that, trying to have a chance to get him here. So I wasn't looking at the map as well as I should have at this point in time. See, like right now, here comes Magus, here comes Donsky, and I didn't see them. And that was a big mistake because we did have a ward here, and we had vision on them. So anyway, I'm going to throw down Event Horizon here, and then Donsky lands a perfect Bandage Toss. If he missed the Bandage Toss, I really think I would have gotten away there because I had my Ghost up. But the fault of this play was having a ward here and not watching the minimap closely enough. I could have seen them coming in, and I could have avoided that. So that was a really weak play on my part. Just a terrible mistake. And yeah, so I'm far from perfect at this game. And that was a very poor play on my part. Like, that's the kind of mistake you just can't make. When you have vision, you always need to keep an eye on that minimap. You can't be letting yourself get killed like that. Anyway, in terms of our lanes, you can see Starva still down here, and Termith's going to finish him off there with a nice pool plus ult combination there. And meanwhile, Mr. Pizarro is still up here, still trying to defend top. So these lanes are just bad, to say the least. Like, this is not how our lane should be set up. And we're not doing what we should have been doing here. Now, part of the reason for that is the only two people that were on voice chat, or Varus and myself were on voice chat using TeamSpeak, but the rest of our team we were just having to communicate with through typing, and that's always difficult, always makes it a little harder to coordinate. And again, look at this, like why is Muffin Guy here middle? Notice what's going on. Magus is pushing down bottom turret unopposed. So once again, why is our bottom lane not in bottom lane? It's the same thing over again. As Varus was trying to steal the red buff there. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to though. So anyway, similar story again. Just people leaving lanes and for no reason. Also, that's kind of a wasted Amumu ult there. I mean, it is going to allow Mr. Pizarro to get away. So I guess it's not wasted, but like he probably just shouldn't have been in that part of the map in the first place, and then he wouldn't have had to use his ult. So I mean, anyway, I'm not trying. I don't want to criticize too much. This was a game for fun. It was a custom game, but these laning assignments really were not good. And we even, Varus and I were commenting on this. We were even saying, guys, please stop leaving your lanes. Like please don't just run around the map randomly. This is one of the biggest problems you see in this game. People not staying in lane. Anyway, Donsky's been cut out here. You can see Varus caught him with the pillar. He's going to try to flash over the wall, but unfortunately Donsky misses the flash, and that's going to allow Varus to kill him. So that was a definite failed flash there. Anyway, now Ixlith is coming down here. He's trying to help out his teammate. But we have two champs here. You can see I'm going to try to head up here to get into this fight as well. Great pillar from Varus. You can see slowing Ixlith there. He's going to use... that's either his cleanse or his spell shield. I'm not sure which one it is off the top of my head. So sorry, I don't know which one of the graphical effects that is, but he uses one of them there to help get himself out. I guess it's cleanse. And there we go. I'm going to hit on the stun. There's going to be his cleanse. So I guess before it was his spell shield. That time it must have been cleanse. So anyway, I had that stun there. Wasn't able to get off my full combo there. Only was able to get off ult and only was able to get off ult and Event Horizon. Anyway, Muffin Guy getting a kill in bottom lane. I'm going to keep the focus up here. We were trying to get Ixlith before we went back to base. Couldn't do that, but now Magus is surrounded by our team. 4 members of our team here. That means we can dive him pretty easily here. We just need some slow effect. I miss on the Event Horizon. Wanted to hit that stun, and but Varus is not going to miss on the Pillar of Filth. There we go. I'm going to get exhausted by Magus. Still continuing to chase after him. He's going to ult on Mr. Pizarro. As soon as that ult comes off, we're going to be able to kill him. So I'm going to continue chasing. Just need one more hit there. I get the stun with Event Horizon, and I'm going to finish him off with another Baleful Strike on my Q. And I just barely have enough life to enable to survive this. Don't want to dive this any further. I think that if they chase back into that tower, they're going to get killed. But anyway, we were able to get 1 kill there, and we were able to get another kill in bottom lane. Right now, Muffin Guy is doing what he should be doing, so very nice play here. Nobody in bottom lane, solo pushing, solo farming down in bottom lane. Really nice stuff. And to go back to an earlier point, notice what are the 2 things I said about Mutant Mimic. Ran himself completely out of mana, which is not good. And then again, team fight top, and he did not go to the team fight, which is what you need to do. If you see, like if you're solo mid and the other solo leaves to go partake in a team fight, you really need to come and join that fight as well in order to help out your team. Anyway, I did use my Deathfire Grasp in that last battle. I'm not sure exactly when I used it, but I'm going to talk about that now since I have a second. You can see this is one of the key items for Veigar. Ability power, mana regen, reduces cooldowns by 15%. So along with Masteries and Runes, you can get that to 30%. That's where I am now on cooldowns, I think. Yeah, 30%, 29.89%. And here I'm going to get off my combo. There we go. There's Baleful Strike, Primordial Burst, and oh, almost. So there's the Veigar Burst, the stun into all that damage. You can see Ixlith does not have Merc Tread, so he gets stunned for a pretty good duration. Now, I missed 2 things here against Ixlith. I could have killed him, but I didn't get off my Ignite, and I didn't get off Deathfire Grasp. Notice how you can see deals magic damage to target champ, equal to 30% of their current health. So you see I didn't get that off. But what I did do was get him really low, and that's going to allow Starva and Pizarro to finish him off. So I don't think I even got an assist on that kill, but I was able to do most of the work and set them up to get that kill. So I was pretty happy with that. Just wish that I could have just burst him down from full with my full combo. So yeah, with Veigar, his full combo, you want to hit on your stun with Event Horizon, then hit them with Dark Matter, with Baleful Strike, with Primordial Burst, with Deathfire Grasp, and with Ignite. And if you can do all that, you can usually kill a champ in one go. Especially if they're a caster, you can burst them down from full to dead in one shot, and it's really pretty awesome when you see that happen. But you have to hit a lot of hotkeys. For instance, it's something like E, W, Q, R, 1, and F. So yeah, doing all that in the span of like 1 second isn't the easiest, and it's something that I've struggled with sometimes when I've played Veigar. Something that I would just need more practice with. Anyway, we've got a low here. You saw we were able to push down that mid tower. It had already taken a lot of damage, and we were able to get it down there. Varus was able to get bottom tower there, and now it looks like he's going to use his pillar to try to escape here. Able to do that. So with this little reprieve here, I'm going to take the time to pick up the blue buff, since I am probably the most useful person. Yeah, I would say Veigar is probably the best person to use it on here. Extra cooldown reduction, extra mana regen. So now with my passive, I have 250 mana regen per 5. Holy cow. So yeah, I can cast basically forever. I mean, I'm getting back, what, 50 mana per second, which is pretty crazy right now with that blue buff. So anyway, oh, and this was another thing. Mr. Pizarro took our red buff, so you can see the red buff is on Amumu right now, and Amumu is a terrible person to get red buff on. I mean, when does Amumu auto attack? Seriously. And Mr. Pizarro said, I need money, sorry. Which, again, you know, don't want to beat up Pizarro, but that didn't make any sense. That red buff should have been saved either for Starva's Misfortune or Varus' Trundle. There's no reason to get him on here. I mean, for 60 gold, just go farm Wraiths instead. Like really, don't go taking key buffs that are very important for your team if they're not good on your champion. So yeah, and you can see Starva said he wanted red. Anyway, Starva's 1v1ing with Magus here. I don't know if they're going to be able to chase him down. Now Donski's here too, so it's a 2-on-2. Donski going to ult. There's a Termith ult, and this is not going well. You can see this is turning into a bad fight. We really can't fight this. I'm going to throw down my stun, but at this point we realize that we've already taken too much damage. It's a 5-on-4. It's a bad engage. We don't want to fight this, so we're just going to back out and not try to do this. And somebody said that they were typing at the start of that fight. Yeah, not a good idea to be typing at the start of a team fight, but oh well. So yeah, that was not so good there in terms of that particular exchange. The good news is that we saw that it was a bad fight, realized that we shouldn't be fighting that, and backed off. Here, I was going after Donski. I mean, it's tough to kill Donski because he's Amumu. He's very tanky. You can see he's got 85 magic resist, even though he hasn't built any magic resist items. But I'm going to try to use my combo on him anyway. You can see there, I'm going to hit him with Deathfire Grasp ult. And I am actually able to get that kill. Now, can I get away from this? Oh, nice stun there on Muffin Guy. Gonna save my life. Here, now, Ixlith is diving to get me, and unfortunately, I'm gonna die. And I misplayed that very badly. My stun was up. I did not stun him. If I could have gotten off my stun at the tower, I might have lived, and we for sure would have killed him. Instead, Ixlith's gonna get out of there, and we don't even get the kill. So again, misplay on my part. I actually did a pretty good job against Donski. Yeah, I ulted him. I was able to hit on Dark Matter, Baleful Strike, Primordial Burst, and Deathfire Grasp, and even though he was a tank because he was at half health, that was enough to kill him. But when Ixlith dove me at that tower, I just played really poorly. My stun was off cooldown. I should have thrown down my stun. If I had hit on the stun, he would have been stunned in tower range, and then we could have just killed him, and I might even have lived. So that was not good there. That was a stupid play. Oh well. In terms of my build, you can see after getting Deathfire Grasp, my next item is going to be Death Cap. I want to get as much ability power as possible because Veigar gets so much ability power. Death Cap is a natural item for him to pick up, so I'm going to go for that. Mag is saying he's terribly underfarmed, and yes, he is. That's not great farming, and Mr. Pizarro is in kind of the same situation there. So anyway, that's what I'm going to go for next. Pizarro hits a nice Bandage Toss on Mutant Mimic, but he's Aurelia and he has Merc Treads, which means he's going to be stunned for like 0 time throughout this game. He's basically unstunnable. He'll be out of anything in like 1 second. So anyway, we can't really go on him. He's the wrong person to focus. I'm going to go after Termith here, but once again, I missed the event horizon. Now, you might say I hit him on the back end, but I was trying to hit him on the front end. If I hit him on the front end, I could have possibly have just burst him down instantly. Pizarro not in a good position here. 4 members of the enemy team around him in a very dangerous spot, and you can see he loses about half his health. Here, though, we're looking to engage, and there we go. I'm going to hit Magus. There goes Deathfire Grasp ult and Ignite, and I'm not going to get that kill, but you can see I burst him down pretty quickly. The problem is now I've taken a lot of damage. I'm quite low, so I'm going to have to play defensively in this battle. I'm going to stay in the back. We're going to get a kill on Donski here, taking a lot of damage back and forth here. Again, I need to stay in the back, but there we go. I'm going to hit the stun on Ixlith, and then I'm going to burst him down with another Q, with another Baleful Strike, and now Mutant Mimic and Termith are going to come in here, and look at this. 3 champs super low, Varus at less than a third health, but we only had 1 death there, so Muffin's Guy is the only one who actually died on our team. So we actually somehow managed to go 3 for 1 in that fight, and I was actually really happy with how that one went. I thought that I played that really well, was able to burst down one of their champs immediately. I mean, Magus, probably the wrong one to go after. because he doesn't do that much damage. He's underfarmed, but still, the value of killing someone right at the start of the fight, you know, is not to be underestimated. Termith would have been ideal. He's really the one I should be going for in these fights, but I was able to get Magus. I didn't get the kill, but I did like 95% of his health and damage, enough that we were able to clean him up. And then after that, staying in the back. Remember, I'm super squishy as Veigar. You can see very low armor, magic resist, more mana than health, staying in the back. And then when someone else on our team got off a stun on who was it on their team that I killed? I can't remember. I got one of them with my Baleful Strike, with my Q. You saw it there. So staying in the back. Then when someone gets stunned, dashing in and polishing them off with one of my spells there. And you can see Baleful Strike does a lot of damage. You can see it does over 400 damage, even in and of itself, because I'm up to 300 ability power. Anyway, Deathfire is off cooldown. I picked up Needlessly Large Rod, so I'm doing a lot of damage. I have a lot of ability power at this point in time. And our plan was, after that fight, we thought we would just run the dragon and see if we could do it, because dragon was up. And indeed it was, and their team didn't try to challenge that, so we were able to score a free dragon. I know we've gotten 2. I'm not sure if their team has gotten any at this point in time. And now look at this. We saw that Magus was bottom lane. You can see I'm typing Poppy bottom go. So because Poppy is in bottom lane, we're going to go for this Baron, because even if they all run and come towards us, you can see Magus is not in on this. That means we're going to have a 4-on fight even if they get here, so we should be able to win this. Starva is here, ready to come out of the bush and flank them if they try to come in. Donsky flashed over the wall. He knew we were doing Baron. He just got there a little bit late, and I'm going to finish him off with my ult. Again, using your ult on a Mumu, not the best, but it did secure the kill there. And here, notice this. I'm going to Ghost, but it's going to be a little bit late. I just need to hit my stun, and oh, so close, but no cigar. That was, again, a missed play on my part. I should have ghosted immediately as soon as Ixalis started running. If I had ghosted, you know, a second and a half earlier, 2 seconds earlier, I would have landed that stun, and we would have been able to get a kill on Ixalis. So again, that was a misplay on my part. I made a mistake there, and we should have been able to get a second kill. Now again, notice this. We were saying shop and push. Varus and I were saying, let's go back and buy now. And this is something that drives me crazy. So again, just a little thing here, but it's something that you notice. Anytime you get Baron, like we got Baron, we chased, and then we weren't able to get a kill. After that, you want to have either everybody push at the same time or everybody go back to base and buy at the same time. So Varus and I immediately went back to base and bought. Now we even typed and said go back, buy, and then push. Now notice that because the rest of our team didn't do that, now look, now Starva and Muffin Guy went back to buy. But they went back to buy a good 15 seconds or so after we went. So now we have to wait for them to walk back before we can do anything. Remember, your Baron's on a timer. You're wasting time. The fact that we had to stop there and wait is a waste of our Baron. And now, furthermore, Mr. Pizarro was down here, and then what does he do? He goes back and buys. And so now we have to wait for him to come here as well. So again, it's a little thing, but it does make a difference, because notice that by the time Pizarro gets here, we're going to have wasted half of our Baron buff because we didn't go back to buy at the same time. So again, it's something, I know it sounds minor, but it's something that when you're playing in a team, you want to try to coordinate. As I said, after you get Baron, either everybody push together or everybody go back and buy together, one or the other. When you have people like one at a time going back to base to purchase, you just waste a ton of time. So anyway, it's something I wanted to point out in this game, because it's something that I've had happen in a lot of games before, normal games, pre-made games, just people not coordinating, and it drives me nuts. Anyway, I'm able to stun Magus there, so now I'm going to follow up with that combo. He's actually going to ult me, so I'm going to be able to kill him. I hit on all my spells except my ignite, so again, not doing it properly. I should have been able to burst him down, but I am able to get the kill. Poor Magus was just a little bit out in front again. And now right here, Terminus is going to ult me, and I was hoping to get out of that, but no, unfortunately, not able to get out of that. I do only have 1700 health, so they're going to kill me, and that's bad because that's kind of going to stop our push here. Another thing, notice that Magus is going to revive much faster than me, so there's really not much we can do. We're going to have to back. And although we did get that tower and we did get a kill, my death is worth more than Magus's death because I'm level 16, he's only level 11. So that was really unfortunate. It was a nice ult by Terminus Malzahar to pick me off. It turned into a kill for them, so that was, I mean, not a whole lot I could do about that. I guess I could have picked up a Quicksilver Sash, but with Veigar, I've generally found he's more effective if you just go all-out offense. Anyway, though, we've got an engage here. This looks like a 2-on-3, so a good fight for us. Now Mutant Mimic's coming in, but it's still a 4-on-3 here with all of our guys here. We're going to get off a nice Amumu ult. There's the Amumu ult into a Misfortune ult, so that goes quite well. That's going to let us score two kills there, so very well played by the team there. Our Misfortune player Starva got off a nice ult. Their Terminus Pool does a lot of damage, though, doing that percentage-based damage. It still does a ton of damage, even to a tank like a Mumu. Now, what we need here is we need Starva to poke at this turret, just be getting off some shots as we push the minions up here. But he's not doing that. Again, if you're the ranged carry, that's what you should be doing. When we push the minion wave up to this tower, you want to start poking down the tower. So again, like when this minion wave comes forward, that's what we need Misfortune to be doing. But Starva's gonna head up there, so oh well. I mean, like Varus and Pizarro, they have melee attacks. I'm Veigar, like I can't really ult the tower. Terminus gonna ult me, but I'm able to get out of it without taking too much damage. Miss on my stun here. I really wanted to try to pop Terminus Banshee's Veil here. I was hoping that I could pop his Banshee's Veil with a Baleful Strike, and then that would set him up for my combo after that, but I just wasn't able to do it. And then we decided that here we would back up, and back up because we weren't going to get any more damage on that tower. And I think that the Baron is off. Yep, Baron's been cleared now. Varus, you can see, has picked up an Oracle. We didn't really see a whole lot of wards from their team. I'm not sure if they were warding, but having the Oracle nonetheless is still very useful. He's definitely the one to get it on. Well, I mean, Pizarro could get an Oracle too, but Varus is so much more farm that it makes more sense to get it on him. Doing a nice Trundle build there. I'm going to go back to base. Pizarro is out of position again. He probably shouldn't be here. This is just a super dangerous position to be in. Now it's not so bad because we've got the other three members of the team here. I mean, stealing blue is a good play, but doing it by yourself, doing it by yourself is okay too, but not when you don't know where anyone on the enemy team is. And anyway, now Dragon's back up, so that's going to be our next objective. You can see here, we're going to ping that, and we're going to head here as a team. And you can see Starva saying he's going to push. Yeah, this is a little dangerous too, but we are in the area at least. I'm not really sure where their team was, what they were doing at this point in time. So here they are. They're going to come out to stop Starva's push. So this actually ends up working out perfectly, but nonetheless, it was a little dangerous to have him split off here. So anyway, now we've got Dragon. I'm gonna ghost in here, and oh, look at that! Donsky flashes out of my stun. Otherwise, we would have had him caught here. But Ixlith is out of position. You can see he's been caught. A great pillar there from Varus, and that's going to enable us to get the kill. And I still got my full burst combo here. Well, no, that's not true. I did use my Deathfire to help kill Ixlith there, so I don't have my full combo, but I have everything except my Deathfire. Magus is ulted right now. He ulted. Who did he ult? I'm not sure. I guess he ulted me, I think. So anyway, we were just waiting for that to wear off. After his ult wears off, we'll be able to damage him again, and we can look about going into this tower. Once again, the key thing is we need Starva. Starva's saying to back. We really don't have to back here. It is a straight 5v4. I mean, we do have pretty good opportunities here, but what we need is we need Misfortune to be poking this tower when the minion wave goes forward. And with him backing off, we can't really do that much. Varus, though, decided he was going to go push mid while they were all in bottom lane. And that, I actually thought that was a pretty good plan, because that way we could either push bottom or we could push mid. But then Muffin Guy teleported to top lane to push that back, and Mr. Pizarro went back to base. So at that point, it was sort of like, well, we can't really do anything here. So even though we were able to score the pick on Ixlith Sivir a minute ago, we couldn't really turn it into anything. So that was a little bit of a waste. Oh well. Anyway, I, though, have finished my death cap a little while earlier, picked up another blasting one. You can see 500 ability power at the 37-minute mark. For most champs, that would be really high. It's actually not that high for Veigar. He can actually go a lot higher. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn my Tear and my Blasting Wand into an Archangel Staff the next time I go back to base. Oh, well, we were going to go back to base, but then Baron popped, and we immediately said, go for Baron right now. You know, Varus and I were talking, we were saying, let's force it right now. The logic there was they had been defending their base for a long time. You know, we had scored the previous Baron, and they were sort of on the defensive. So we didn't think they would have any wards over here, and that they wouldn't have vision here to see what we were doing. And so when Varus gets over here, notice that he has the Oracle. Indeed, there are no wards here. So we thought we would be pretty safe to do this, just because they wouldn't have vision on what we were doing. And indeed, they never had a clue that we were even doing Baron there. So again, that can be the advantage. You can get that kind of advantage from having the lanes push, just it's difficult for the other team to get out and throw down wards at places like Baron. And now, same thing as before. Once again, we were saying all shop now. Like, everybody, let's shop together now, please. I'm picking up blue and then I'm going back. But once again, that's not happening. People are again sort of individually going back to base. Pizarro is trying to blue in a very unsafe spot, so he's able to get back to this. But again, notice what's happening again. We're using our Baron and people are going back to shop individually one at a time instead of everybody going back to base together. So once again, we're going to waste more time off our Baron timer. Again, it's a small thing. Yes, it is a small thing. I know I'm harping on this, but little plays like that are what can make the difference in a game if the game's even. So, I mean, not as bad this time. We didn't have to wait too long, but still, I mean, we did still waste a quarter of our Baron there going back to base. I finished my Archangel staff, so now I'm at almost the 700 ability power moment. When I drink my elixir, I'll go over 700, which is pretty amazing. I mean, look at how much damage my ult does. 1300 damage plus 80% of their target's AP. So like, I can kill Termith so easily. He does have some magic resist, but I mean, he only has 2000 health. If I can ever get off my full combo on him, he's just gonna die so quickly. If someone else can, if we just need to pop that Banshee's Veil first. So yeah, here we're looking to engage. We're here in this brush, but they know we're here, so Termith's going to use a Malzahar pool, do some pretty good damage there, using his silence as well, try to get off some more harassment. So at this point, we need to figure out a plan. We've got Baron. We need to figure out some way to crack their base defenses. You can see they still have 2 towers here on the outside. I think that we, at this point, because we've gotten 2 Barons, because we've gotten 3 Dragons, we have the edge and kills, we're definitely strong enough to beat them in a team fight. But we probably can't beat them in a tower dive, so something we need to look for. Anyway, Varus decided to go bottom and to start pushing this lane. We decided that we would try to hold them here in the middle and just look for an opportunity to engage while Varus pushed down there, start pushing that minion wave. I am, as always, just looking for a chance to stun. Like right here, I was trying to catch them, but that was a rather poor Event Horizon, didn't catch anyone. But in the meantime, we're sort of distracting them here, and meanwhile, Varus is slowly pushing bottom lane, and Ixlith is up here in top lane, so it's 4v4 in the center. I was hoping, when I saw Ixlith split off there, I was hoping that we could get an engage 4v4, so I was pretty sure we could win that. And then while we were doing that, so there's a solo pusher on each lane. While we were doing that, I thought that we could push down bottom tower. Anyway, I was hoping that we could still force a fight here, but it looks like the team decided they wanted to go and go after Ixlith Sivir instead. So they're going to do that. In the meantime, I'm going to stay here in middle lane. I'm going to try to keep people occupied here. I was going to try to keep Donsky occupied. Meanwhile, Varus was pushing in that bottom lane, but now the enemy team's coming after him. He's got Termith over here. He's got Donsky over here too. So 3 people came after him. And meanwhile, we were able to clean up that kill on Ixlith in the top lane. So very unbalanced here. In the meantime, I continue to push mid. I figured, like, well, if everybody's going to leave mid, I'll come over here. They're able to get the stun off on Mutant Mimic. And oh, look at all that damage. I'm going to get my Ignite. Can we finish him off? No, unfortunately. Just short of damage. So that was ult, Deathfire, Dark Matter. Not quite enough damage, which is really a shame. I wish we'd been able to finish him off. Anyway, Termith getting off his stun on Muffin Guy there. Nice Misfortune ult from Starva. I'm going after Donsky, which is again silly because he's the tank, but he was the one in most position, one furthest forward. Now Magus is behind the rest of his team, so we're going to clean him up. Go 3 for 0, which is really quite good. I was still a little irritated that we missed the kill on Mutant Mimic, though. There, I'm going to land a nice stun on Termith, though. There's the pillar from Varus, and I'm going to finish him off with a Baleful Strike there. So that was a nice kill, too. That was a nice kill there, too, I have to say. I landed the initial stun, Varus followed that up with the pillar, and we were able to turn that into a kill. And since, again, Termith has Sorcerer's Shoes and not Merc Treads, he was stunned for a pretty good length of time. Again, Event Horizon stuns for 2.5 seconds at max rank. And now here, I drop my ult on Mutant Mimic's Aurelia, but look at this. Oh, come on. I didn't realize that the tower had switched to focus me, and I get killed by the tower. And I was like, oh, seriously? Really? Come on. So that was a bad play by me. And what it means is, instead of us being able to finish the game here, we're actually going to have to back out. So you can see people laughing, and fairly so. I was just like, really? Really? Seriously? Killed by the turret? Ah. So anyway, what that means is we're going to have to back out of this, and we're actually not going to be able to win the game off that push there. oftentimes you'll see a team try to finish the game, try to win there, and with the rest of their team reviving, we would have lost if we had fought there. So that was a good retreat. I mean, if we were all at like half health or so, if we had continued to try to fight there at that tower, they definitely would have won that. And then maybe they all revive and they get, you know, a tower or two mid, and then all of a sudden they're back in the game. So anyway, we're gonna back out with just the one death and a death to a turret, I might add, so they get no gold for it. Gonna back out here, take another dragon. Baron will be back up in, well, I guess, yeah, the Baron's worn off, so in another 3 minutes, Baron will be up. If worse comes to worse, we can just keep the lanes pushed and go for the next Baron, and go for that. Anyway, I picked up a needlessly large rod and a chain vest, excuse me, which is going to build towards, of course, the only item that builds towards is Zanya's Hourglass, so that will give me even more ability power, and will give me at least a slight way to defend myself. Boom! There goes down the caster minions. Give me a little bit of another active feature. That stasis does help you. If you use it correctly, you can survive a lot of stuff. We'll get you out of some bad situations. Still farming up ability power. You can see I'm still Baleful Striking creeps, still getting more ability power off that. Here, Starva and I have to be a little bit careful. Didn't want to unload my full burst on Magus there, so I'm just going to use my Q, which does pretty good damage there. You can see he doesn't have that much magic resist, only 71. Meanwhile, here we're looking to fight that their teams come out of the base, which is great for us. I mean, if we fight that, we're far enough ahead that if we fight outside the base, we should win. Now here though, oh, there I miss on a stun again, so oops, not so great. Here, though, I'm trying to go over to support bottom lane, but look at this. I take a terrible angle, and look, I get caught in the middle of their team. I get ulted by Termit there. I'm going to try to get out of this, but now Ixlith is coming after me. I'm going to throw down my stun, but he's going to, I think he's going to cleanse out of that, or he cleansed out of something there. Spell shielded one, cleanse another. Now I'm just running for my life here, doing no damage. Pizarro's going to stun and save me, and now what I should do is turn back into the fight and just use my ult, but I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm heading back to base to try to make sure I survive. Over here, Varus and the rest of the team are cleaning up another great pillar. Pizarro finishes off Ixlith there, and Starva's doing a lot of damage, going to help clean up that kill. So we go 4 for 0 in that fight, and the rest of the team played great. The problem is I did that fight horribly, just awful. I did no damage that entire fight. I was so far out of position. I just spent the whole fight running for my life. You can see all my skills are off cooldown. I didn't use Deathfire, didn't use Ignite, didn't use anything. So I was completely useless in that battle. Now, fortunately, our team was just far enough ahead that we could beat them off that, but I felt really bad about that because I just played it so horribly. Anyway, Magus ulting next to the tower. Fortunately, Varus and Pizarro are healthy enough that they're going to be able to tank the tower and still survive. Now Magus coming back in, doing his best here, but it's a 4 against none. There's really nothing he can do to stop this. They're going to push down that tower, and then that's going to be game. So we're going to end up winning the match here. So yeah, I mean, our team played great in that last fight. I wish I could say I had done the same, but as I said, I was awful in that last fight. Anyway, I'm going to look at the stats here, and we'll wrap this up. Alright, overall, here you see the final stats for the game. I thought I played okay overall. I made some really nice plays. I made some really dumb plays. Several of my deaths were really stupid, things that I should have avoided, could have avoided. The last death especially. I played the last fight just horribly badly, as you saw there. Was no help to the team in that last fight. At the same time, though, I did get 8 kills and 7 assists against the 5 deaths, so that's your standard 3-to-1 ratio. So, as I would say, overall, I played okay. I hardly ever play Veigar. Probably played him maybe once in the last month. So for someone that I never play, I think that this was reasonably decent, I guess you'd say. On our team, Varus, I think, clearly played the best. He played just a great game. You can see 6-1-13. He controlled the jungle, farmed really well. You can see he had a great item build. He had so many pillars of filth that slowed the enemy team. Just a really strong game all around and well played. As far as the rest of the team, you can see Muffin Guy basically built straight AP. I didn't see his ult go off all that much, to be perfectly honest, but he did have the one great binding, if you remember in the early fight, the binding on Termit that allowed us to get that kill, so that was well done. Starva, you can see, farmed up pretty well in top lane. You can see had good farm, did have the Bloodthirster, Last Whisper, Banshee's Veil combo, so a very, very solid build there. The one question there would be, I'm not sure why you need a Doran's Ring on Misfortune. That seems a little silly. Pizarro, I mean, finished 5-1-10, so so the numbers look great. It was out of position a lot, though. The build is a little funky. I'm not sure that Amumu needs the fast boots, and I don't think that Thornmail first is really the right item to go on Amumu there. So it did have some nice plays at times, but also made some mistakes throughout the game. So a mixture of good play and some mistakes there, but definitely contributed to the team. So well done there. As far as the other team, I mean, their numbers don't necessarily look great. A lot of that was just falling behind the curve. I mean, this game, as you know, in League of Legends, when you fall behind the curve, that means your numbers are going to look bad. Termeth definitely played the best on their team. Termeth was carrying them for a long point in time. Just the rest of the team fell too far behind. A lot of that due to us just taking a lot of dragons and us taking the 2 barons. And that, once again, their credit goes to Varus Nox for controlling the jungle. So they just got behind a little bit. One thing I do want to point out, though, is Ixlith farmed extremely well as Sivir. You can see he has the Bloodthirster and Infinity Edge there, so farmed really well, and if he had been able to stay alive a little bit longer in some of the fights, could have really dished out some damage. So anyway, there you go. I had a request for a Veigar game. There you go. Even one using the White Mage skin. It was on sale this week, and since it was super cheap, I figured I'd pick it up. This was taken from our Tuesday night game night, so again, if you're on the US servers, starting at Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. US East Coast time, we do these games. So if you're around, again, I try to find people, try to get different people to play these games with. Just the only issue is I now have about 200 friends on my League of Legends buddy list, so it's tough sometimes. There are a lot more of you than there are of me, so I do my best, try to see people, try to play games with as many fans as possible, but it's just tough because, as I said, there's a lot of you. So anyway, again, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you again soon, guys, so take care.